our parks policy as a whole remains the same as it has been inside this province for a long time. We continue to be dedicated to providing a park system to be able to provide recreation opportunities inside some of the wild places of our province. The focus of our government coming into this last election, that was a key part of our platform, was recognizing that the park system has grown since sometime in the early 90s from about 3,500 hectares to, I believe, over 45,000 hectares in that period of time over 30 years, while at the same time the budget has stayed similar for that type of space. So when you're dealing with that level of an increase, our incoming government recognized and our party recognized that there was going to have to be steps made to be able to make sure that we could maintain our park system. And we had large meetings with groups all across the province on some of the ideas that we could have to be able to make that happen. And one of the things that we heard loud and clear was the opportunity to continue to build on partnership opportunities inside the province. Now, that's not something that is new. I know some people have tried to make it sound like partnerships within the park system is a new concept. It's not. It's a concept that's existed in our province since 1932. Well over 100 and some partnerships already exist to manage our park system. And so we recognize that we should make a commitment to be able to strengthen those relationships with nonprofit organizations and municipalities and Indigenous communities and others to be able to strengthen the partnerships that we have when it comes to managing our park system. And so we followed through on that commitment this last spring by identifying potential sites that would work for partnerships and open them up for potential opportunities. That doesn't mean that they will all receive partnerships. What it means is that we've identified a list of where there would be a reasonable conversation in the short term. I'm happy to tell you, Whitney, we've had lots of interest, and we're looking forward to seeing some of those partnerships announced in the coming months. And we got lots to go on that. But in general, our goal is to continue to maintain our parks and maintain access for recreation. But while using Albertans to be able to help with the protection of their wild places, something that we strongly believe in. Did we lose you? We're able to get to that right away. As you know, Mike, because you sit behind me in question period, I've answered that question lots in question period. In fact, I had my staff check earlier today, no less than 25 times in question period have I answered this question. But happy to do it again. To be clear, no parks are for sale inside this province at all. To put that rumor out there to mislead the public,
still claiming that parks are not for sale.
But 100%, no parks are for sale in this province, and no parks are going to be for sale inside this province.
Thank you, sir.
He hasn't yet said what happens when a park is delisted, though.
I think you might be muted.
Is that me? Oh, Whitney.
Yeah, this is them, all right.
So, Whitney, I'm not sure if your mic's on, so I'm going to repeat that question.
Let's try this again.
Yeah.
What is the difference between park status and protected crown status?
Well, at the end of the day, the differences between different acts, so different laws that were in the legislature. So there's a Parks Act and there's a Public Lands Act, and there are protections for land within both of those acts that are different levels of protection. In fact, the Public Lands Act has lots of protection, and often in some cases they have protected areas that are more the Parks Act can provide. But the acts evolved over time in the legislature. As I said earlier, the Provincial Parks Act came into place in about 1932. It was redone at other times, of course, over the last almost 100 years. But it's an act that has been around a long time. And it was associated with the Parks Department, which was not always in Alberta Environment. So Alberta Environment was
this has to do with user fees.
We are, of course, facing a fiscal situation in this province that is unprecedented, and we have to figure out how to be able to fund the park system. The park system costs money every year well above what is taken in from camping fees and other user fees, and we need to continue to make sure that the system is financially viable so it can be able to operate and do its job. But we have a different variety of locations all across the province that are at a variety of prices to be able to access, depending on where you're camping, from free to, of course, if you're camping in a place like Mount Kidd inside Kananaskis, there's different fees. So there are opportunities, and we're going to continue to make sure that the department recognizes that we need to be able to make sure that people of a variety of needs are able to access our provincial park system, and we'll continue to look for those opportunities. But at the same time, to be clear, we have to be able to put in place a system that's going to be able to last and is going to be able to be financially stable to be able to make sure that we can provide this beautiful park system for decades to come. Maintain. And we committed within our platform that we would look towards
this
trail
has to do with
access fees
ski
to be able to
trails
create
in the
an infrastructure
Kananaskis
that will be
cross
able
country.
to make sure that you can continue to do those recreation activities
They
in those
expect to
areas for
have
generations to
some
come.
planned out by
One of the big issues when it comes to
next
trails
fall,
is
a year from now.
water crossings, or in the case of ski trails, buying equipment as well as avalanche watching and different things that we have to do to be able to maintain the ability for people to be able to go and utilize those trails. And not all Albertans utilize them. And so by putting in a moderate fee, which in this case is voluntary, at the parking lots, so we were able to not have to put staff out on the trail sites to be able to try to collect fees. Instead, the volunteer organization, the nonprofit organization that's involved, will collect the fees at the parking lots, and that money will go to covering their administration costs as well as to covering the track setting costs inside the province. And this is a model that we heard loud and clear both before the election and after the election that people wanted. I can't count the amount of letters that I've received from people that say, "Hey, bring in some sort of a fee, a modest fee. We'd like to be able to help maintain these areas. We recognize the financial situation government's in, and we're happy to be able to pay a moderate fee to be able to continue to access this great resource." And so that's a great example. Kananaskis, one of a partnership, but second of using a creative way to be able to make sure that we can protect trails for generations to come.